Cheers, welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, this is part 2 for 2 different videos. We have the thiolized IPA and we have the thiolized cold IPA. Brought Drew in, he's here for the taste testing.
Yep.
He's already
free beer.
Yeah, free beer, and he's already scared. So, yeah, I did what I always do. We'll go into that. Not a big deal. But so we had Star Party for the ale. I'll put that over, I guess, on the right. So we'll keep the ale to the right, and then I'll use the Lunar Crush, which was the lager version, over on the left. And just a quick recap before we do the taste testing, and I think you're gonna be quite surprised. I've already had a little sample. He hasn't. They both came out good, but they're very different, and it doesn't make sense to me, but it does make sense, and it's a long story. So needless to say, the cold IPA and the thiolized IPA, they were the exact same hop profiles, same mash temps, things like that. The things that were different were the malts and the yeast. Now the yeast were both thiolized. One was a lager, Lunar Crush 403, and the other was Star Party 404, both from Omega.
Which is an ale, so.
Yeah, which is an ale. And what Omega had said, which I have a problem wrapping my head around this, is that when you put hops on top of your mash, it helps to break down certain precursors for certain traits that are in the malts, also to help generate thiols.
Thiols? I don't know.
But they call them chemical
I'm not a
compounds.
chemist.
We'll call them chemical compounds. Neither one of us are chemists. I mean, come on. But a good example is that the cold IPA is just that. It is a lager that the hops stand out. So you're talking 9 pounds of Golden Promise, 3 pounds of corn, and that was it for the malt bill. And yeah, it would have made a great lager.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be around 7.4%. It was oh, actually no, that one's wrong. That one was 8.1. That's 8.1.
Oh.
Yeah, I wrote them on the wrong pages, sorry. So it came out 8.1. Yes, I did lift the malt basket twice, and that helped a lot with the efficiencies. The thiolized IPA, I shot for a West Coast IPA. Now, if you're gonna do any kind of thiolized IPA of any kind, don't expect it to be clear, because you're talking lots of hops, lots of, yeah. And I used 18.5 ounces of hops, over a pound.
Nice.
6 ounces in the mash, 6.5 in the whirlpool for 10 minutes, and 6 in the dry hop, no boil additions. I know people are like, what? Told you I had to use up these hops. But this bad boy was 12 pounds of Pale Turo, 8 ounces of Victory, 4 ounces of Acid, 4 ounces of Carapils, 4 ounces of Caramel 40L. So it was very West Coast and ended up at 7.7%. It was supposed to be around 7.4, but yeah, it is what it is. The dry hops, in case anybody missed that, the dry hops, I used HBC 586, 1 ounce, Mosaic for 1 ounce, Sabro Lupomax 1 ounce, Galaxy at 1 ounce, Amarillo Lupomax 1 ounce, and Citra at 1 ounce. A little about a half ounce over diminishing returns, but you're still gonna get some returns. And they were at it for 5 days after fermentation had just started to get to nothingness. Basically, I think I had a point left. I kicked it in. I expected a little hop creep. I think I got some because some of my final gravities on both were lower than expected. So I'm good with that. Okay, I know it's gonna seem like a long time for us, but it's gonna seem a fraction of a second, and we're gonna fill 4 glasses. Here we go.
Let's go.
Okay, so hold them up. The ale's the darker one. The lager's the lighter one. I'm gonna hold up a light and kind of show you. That's the ale, nice and pretty. Nice and pretty. And it's got a nice haze.
Yeah.
It definitely has a haze.
It's not cloudy, it's just a little haze.
Yeah, and then the lager has just a very little bit of haze. It's very, it's got a little haze, but it's definitely a little lighter than ale, although the ale is a darker color because of the caramel, it's hard to tell. So, I'm gonna say even though the lager has more ABV, I think we need to try the lager first.
You sure?
Well, it's a lighter malt bill. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
You wanna try the ale first?
That's just because of the higher alcohol, I don't know. But okay, we'll do it. Whatever you think is better.
So we're doing the lager first. And I wanna know what you smell and what you taste, because I have something very different between the two. Same hops, not the same beer.
A lot of Citra in the scent.
Yeah, but what
I'm not as familiar with some of the other hops you said, so.
But what fruit do you smell?
What fruit?
Let me back up. What style of fruit do you smell?
It's grapefruity-ish.
I taste that, but what do you smell?
That's what I haven't tasted it yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I smell.
Okay. And it could be individual people. We might be a little different. We're pretty much alike, but we do have some differences.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like,
If you had to pick a couple fruits,
what does a pomelo taste like again?
that is kind of like a mild grapefruit.
So that, because it's not like a bit, well, okay, the
I
aftertaste.
taste grapefruit in the
The
aftertaste.
aftertaste.
The aftertaste is very grapefruit.
Now that it's hit.
Extremely grapefruit.
But like it smells like a pomelo, it tastes like a pomelo up front, like a lighter, brighter, not as bitter. And then it hits you with the bitter in the end.
And understand, I have tried these. He has not.
I really like this because of the bitter too at the end.
That's why I poured 2 full pints, because I'm going to drink these.
We can't find palate wrecker anywhere around here anymore. So the nice strong bitter at the end is really cool.
Yeah. And the bitter is definitely there. It's at the end, and it's grapefruit. It's grapefruit and grapefruit rind.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely grapefruit rind sitting on your lips and a little bit on your tongue.
That's good.
I'll give you what I smell.
What fruit are you talking about?
I smell tropical fruit right up front with a hint of citrus.
What fruits?
Mango, maybe papaya, which I know sounds weird.
Oh.
But I smell mango and maybe papaya. Even maybe a tad of pineapple. I definitely have a hint of pineapple on the
It
first
has
sip.
more taste than it does scent. So
Yeah. The grapefruit is very strong on the flavor and the aftertaste. And when we get that rind, kind of like around it, and
gotta do the wine sommelier thing.
Oh.
You're gonna get the aroma going again. I can see papaya, like a hint of papaya.
hint of papaya.
I
But
still think it's like through and through very grapefruity or pomelo.
yeah, I get a lot of tropical. Before you drink too much, let's move on to the ale so we don't
It's really good.
numb the senses.
I think
This-
I might need some water for that, to be honest.
I use this to clean something off so it hasn't been drank out of, so
That'll
you're
work.
good. Actually, the dog had to pee in something while we were traveling. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Too late now, so.
A little acidic? No.
It's a lot sweeter smelling. I don't want to sip it, but it's so high up on the glass.
This one, I don't think it's as complex from my perspective, but I'm not going to nail the flavors and aromas. The aroma seems mild, but it might be because we already got a nose full of that one.
This one smells much more tropical to me.
Wow. Okay.
It smells much like a sweeter profile, like not
Keep going.
as grapefruit.
And like I said, everybody's different. Everybody is different. What you smell, what you taste, and that's why I quit saying, this one wins. A lot of times I'm like, I prefer this one, but they're both, here's the differences, because some people would prefer something that I don't prefer. Trust me, we don't all prefer the same thing. Otherwise, yeah, y'all be eating a really weird diet. I live on cranberries and pecans.
It's juicy.
Very juicy.
Flavor-wise, I can actually taste a little bit of like pineapple in it.
I could get a subtle hint of pineapple.
And the bitter hits at the end. So.
Yeah, I don't feel the bitter hits quite as hard as the lager. Now the lager is
Not as bitter.
8.1 and this is 7.7. I did do the cold IPA afterwards and the Whirlpool worked, but I did manually Whirlpool on the regular dialyzed West Coast take on a dialyzed IPA.
I think scent-wise, this is the mango one.
Okay, so he's getting mango, pineapple, and I'm assuming some citrus.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, all I could get was citrus the first time I tried it, with some afternotes of maybe some passion fruit, maybe some mango, tropical fruits in there, a hint of pineapple. But it was like a citrus bomb to me.
I'm getting like pineapple, and like if I had to pick a citrus fruit, probably yuzu. Which is kind of like a sweeter, almost lemony flavor.
Don't worry if you don't know what that is. I don't either.
And then like a bit of mango in it.
Now
from the smell mostly.
keep in mind, both of these, I've been tasting them, and initially this was like a citrus bomb, fresh in the keg, carbonated in 2 days, and it has aged for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now. This one is aged for just over a week. So that aging has changed it because the citrus in here is still here. I taste it for me. The tropical a little bit, but it's not the same beer I had when it was like literally 2 days old as far as carbonation goes.
This one I could have anytime. This one's kind of like a luau crunkle. from Terrapin.
Got a little bit more malt backbone.
Yeah, where I have to want it. Just because it's like such a stronger flavor, I feel like, or
Yeah.
that juiciness for some reason. I feel like I have to crave that to want it. This I can just drink anytime. I'll be like, okay.
Here's the key if you're not real familiar with cold IPAs. This is a West Coast. West Coast is all about the hops and the malt. The malt bill has to give it a bit of a backbone or a foundation for the hops. So you have a little caramel, you have a little biscuit, maybe a little toffee or something back there.
Yeah,
some
yeah,
notes.
yeah, yeah. Toffee, yeah.
You get little notes of that nice bready types of flavors. And you've got the hops, and the hops really shine, but you've still got the malts right in there. They're just like, yeah.
I think that's what it is like the toffee flavors. It makes it feel like a heavier beer. It's probably not technically. But
Cold IPA is all about the hops. They want to keep the malt profile as light and as crisp as possible while letting the hops stand out. Now,
meanwhile, this whole thing is just light and crisp almost.
yeah, in the Lunar Crush, you can ferment between 50 to 65 Fahrenheit or 10 to 18 Celsius. I kept it right at 64 Fahrenheit.
You're right at the tolerance for ABV on that.
Yeah. Yeah, 9%, and I'm sitting at 8.1, so we're pushing it. And because you know what they say is sometimes you're a little off.
11.
This one's 60 to 73 Fahrenheit for ales or 16 to 23 Celsius. And I was sitting right around 71.5 to 72 Fahrenheit, so I kept it warm. This goes to 11, so you know.
You had room.
Yeah, I had room. I might be able to go back and do that one again, see if I can't push
Do an
it up
imperial
even higher.
version,
Yeah, we'll do an imperial version. But honestly, if I was going to introduce somebody to a lot of hops, yeah, I know you can do a smash, but a cold IPA would be a great way to really profile either one or a layering combination of hops. Like if there were certain hops you felt were good layered, yeah, all about the hops.
This would be the first one for sure.
Yeah, and the bitterings, now the bittering was the same on both of them. I tried to keep it right at around 71 or 70 IBUs. I think 71 here, 70.2, yeah. So we're talking 70 on the IBUs on both. If I brought it down closer to maybe 50, I think it wouldn't be as bitter if you're not into the bitter side, but I really wasn't worried. We like it bitter. We're not a problem. We know people who are very cold and bitter, and we can tolerate them, so we can tolerate the beer. Cheers, and yes, I'm drinking both of these. Oh wait, hang on.
Just because I was, putting this one down, almost it seemed like they're both really good. I just prefer this one. That's all.
Yeah, well, if you're all
both
about
awesome.
if you're all about the hops, boom. If you want the West Coast, you don't mind a little haze. It is
That fuller,
and-
like toffee backbone profile.
Yeah, and I did put gelatin in all of these. I was trying to clarify them as much as I can, but that was a lot of hops, 18 and a half ounces. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some more. If you have any suggestions for using lots of hops, and I don't mean shipping them to you, I mean actually brewing with them. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing, put it down in the comments, let me know what you're looking for, and little added bonus here. I'm putting this at the end, not gonna market it, advertise it, but if you're in Jacksonville, Florida, find my email on the channel, email me. I'm gonna start inviting locals to come do taste tests on and off camera.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you again for joining us.